Okay, I guess we just had to start over. Alright, well, that's it. I had to reduce the resolution and start the stream over again. It was not happy with the resolution, and that's it, whatever. Cool beans! I'm just screwing around today, like I do every day, except for when it's time to work. So hopefully the stream is working well. Not I'm gonna have to watch my mouth because I curse a lot, and of course, hopefully all you guys are getting is a picture of this hamburger that I had. Anyway, I'll be right back. I gotta go take care of some business real quick. Well, that business is taken care of. We're all set and ready to go. I wonder. I wonder. Anyway, let's check it out. We've got so much we can do right now. I need to get a microphone, I think, because the sound quality, I'm just using the mic that's installed on the webcam. It's low resolution webcam also. So I want to make upgrades all around, but I think the microphone is probably the most important right now, because I think that it's the most important right now because it's just the sound quality. I obsess over the quality of the videos, and it makes me want to learn more about video editing and photography and all that, trying to produce these as a complete rookie. But I see a lot of guys on YouTube now who are doing things so bare bones, and they're getting subscribers. They're even doing live streams, getting donations from people. So that's pretty cool. And there's plenty of people that are being successful right now, or at least maybe they're earning a good side income, at least enough to pay for their internet, to just do some simple things and speak their minds freely, so you don't have to worry about the YouTube censors so much. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about today? I got to start working a little bit. Okay. It's just, so let's see. What a lot of these guys are doing is they're just reading stuff they find on Reddit. There's other guys that do 4chan already, so that's fine. I just got turned on to the Donald because so that's pretty funny. I don't know if I want to read that though. Somebody else will probably make $1 million doing that. Oh, who knows? I mean, this is all a bunch of it's just a circle jerk basically. So what's this? I'm gonna read on the Donald here. Zuck hates black conservatives, racist left. Let's see what that's all about. I'm not taking a position on this, not publicly anyway. But let's read what it says, because it's always good for a laugh. Politics, whether you're on the right or the left, I think there's always something funny. Alright, so let me get this straight. A black conservative pleaded with the Daily Beast not to dox him because he said people would hurt him, and they went and released his private information anyway with the help of Facebook. I can't wait for him to sue their asses. Okay, well, let's put that link in the Let's put that link in the chat in case anybody wants to see it. Boop. I don't know if YouTube will let us. Oh, they let us do it. So anyway, let's read on. You guys can read along with me. Facebook turned this user's private data over to a hacker felon convicted of internet crimes. This guy wasn't even allowed to go online for 3 years after his release from prison. This is who Daily Beast hires for journalism, and Facebook works with them to attack an innocent person because of their orientation politically. Call a spade, it's Frackbook. So racist, communist. White liberals are exempt. Communism doesn't see race. We're all meat for the grinder. Robert Barnes and his new SPLC incoming. President Trump, are you reading this? We need help ASAP. These comments like that, they really make me laugh. You know, people are so desperate to be heard. And I get that feeling. I understand, but it's like, come on, like you can, like, don't do it. Not because you don't have freedom of speech, but it's like, or you don't have the right to say anything. But it's like, we when it comes down to it, we just need to add to the conversation. And there's not a lot of you're not really helping the situation out much. It's not really adding anything. I don't think. I mean, well, actually, this is a pretty famous subreddit, so maybe Trump does read it in his spare times. You never know. What's he gonna do, really? No, we don't. We got this. Watch and see what conservatives do when they finally get fed up. Hint: 2020 is gonna be a landslide. These people can talk all the shirts they want. They still getting they booties whipped. I'm self-censoring for because I'd like to get monetized one day. Um, you know, whatever. Just call me a coward. All right, I'm just a guy that wants to make money. I pray you're right, but this guy's from Texas. I pray you're right, but everyone is saying the 2018 midterms would be a red wave after what they did to Kavanaugh and Welp. I don't really know what he is trying to say there. But everyone was saying that 2018 would be a red wave. Well, it wasn't a red wave. No. It wasn't exactly a blue tsunami either. Whatever. Well, they did. So Kavanaugh's in. This guy's, I don't know, whatever, the cool mom. Too long didn't read, but may seem like 2018. May not seem like. Okay, so this guy's blah blah blah. It was a red wave. Da di da di da di da. Yeah, so this thread is all about some guy. I forgot. He posted some fake news or whatever. He's making a little bit of money on the side, doing outrage bait. Don't take my word for it. I can't remember the whole thing. This is, I feel for the guy. I hope it works out. It's not enough for me to keep carrying on right here. Just, when you're reading this stuff on the internet, there's just no formatting for some of these people. You know, provide a little bit of context if you're going to post something, and then get to it. So that way people can join in on the conversation. Yep, that's it exactly. Rainbow flag, attendees. I don't know. So I live in Bangkok, Thailand. Been here for a long time. I did spend about 2 years in total back home, off and on. But yeah, who knows? See if we can find. So I'm gonna go to Thailand, see if there's anything funny in the Thailand subreddit. Where's all my subreddits? I know I subscribed to them. There, Bangkok. There we go. All right, the Bangkok air pollution. This one's kind of a slow. There's more going on in the Facebook groups, and I don't want to get into those. It's not. it's not polite. There's a lot of crappy expats out here. So, the Bangkok air pollution mega thread discussion, dubstep in Bangkok. Bangkok sky, an image. Sapan Taksin BTS station closed this year. Good hotel. Is the German restaurant on Soi 11 open again? Big fight night set Rajadamnern. In Bangkok, DMK. La la. Next 6 hours. Want to grab a drink and hang out. Bangkok seafood advice. Potential expat. What to consider. Clothes repair. Heat, sweat rash, question. 8 comments. Terrible experience at Suvarnabhumi. Oh, God. This subreddit is pretty well. It's just boring. Why don't people know how to walk here? That might be entertaining. 51 comments. Let's see what we got. This guy. I've lived in plenty of big cities, and BKK is easily the worst for walking. Let's put this in the chat. Okay, people can take a look. You can take a look, read along with me if you want. Comment on Reddit. I've lived in plenty of big cities, and BKK is easily the worst for walking. People blindly bumping into each other, stopping at the top of elevators, trying to walk in front of you. Every day I lived in Tokyo, which has far bigger crowds, but people use their eyes, and everyone beautifully dodges each other. What's with Bangkok people? Do Thais just not have spatial awareness? Is this a Buddhist thing? Yep, let's dive into these comments. Hopefully there's some that'll get some gold. Well, you can't see where you walk when you are constantly looking at your phone. I usually best myself up at home for using my phone too much. Then I get here. Kidding aside, what is this guy saying? Kidding aside, I don't feel like it's a big problem. People never bump into me, but I'm super tall, so I'm kind of hard to miss. I have the exact opposite experience. I almost never bump into any Thais, but very often into foreigners. Maybe you didn't adapt correctly. Been in Bangkok over 3 years. Rarely have that problem, and while I'm short, I'm somewhat pudgy and generally hard to miss. Never been bumped, discounting being shoved into a train during peak hours by an avalanche of people, which I'm quite sure Japan has it worse. But this guy's put it all in format. He really wanted to comment and say what he really had a lot to say and wanted to be heard. So I guess I should do. He did the diligence, so I guess I'll read his comment in full. Never had people stopping at the bottom of an escalator without good reason. Certainly never had people try to walk in front of me. Had a bunch run around me. Is that considered rude? I mean, they are just in a rush. I'm going to be brutally honest here. You make it sound like Thais are just bumping and stumbling to get to their location, which is not the case. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you. Every country has their own culture of walking. An extreme example would, of course, be Japan. Would you be able to get into the crowd and follow the flow without bumping, blocking, or otherwise inconvenience anyone on your first day? Probably not. So maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you. It's in no way your fault for not knowing, but it will be when you decide not to change your mindset and expect a whole country to change theirs. Okay, so this is a typical. I don't know, man. This guy, I don't know what he's being all about right now. This is just kind of like the typical sort of obladi oblada. Uh-oh, my wife is home. I heard the door open. Man, I should stop. I should stop the stream. So we'll see. We'll see. She's gonna come up in here and start asking questions. She has no like filter or not. She has a filter. It's just she had like when she wants to come and see me and start asking questions, she doesn't. She she thinks I'm immediately available all the time. That I am going to be doing that. What I'm going to be doing might not involve being in the public arena. She'll come in here and she'll be like, "Why'd you leave that dish on the sink?" or some, I mean, something silly like that. And I'll be like, "Dude, we're live. Can you give? I need to get the red light, the old time studios. Just do not disturb. We're, we're recording. We're on a live session." So anyway, I can hear her running around down there. That's pretty cool though. She hasn't come up here yet. My daughter will probably come up here soon, so that'll be fun. Yeah, so you get these guys here that make comments like this, and they just try to be like kind of neutral but critical at the same time of the poster. Like whatever. Like Thai people do some dumb shit. Every country has people that do dumb shit, and Thai people are kind of shitty at walking in the streets. There's not. I don't really bump. I've never really experienced people like bumping into you, but it's they do have their head in their phones a lot, and you can step to the side to try to avoid them because you can see they're on their phone, and because of the way they're walking and balancing themselves left and right, they kind of veer off into your lane. You're just like, dude, enough already. Like, get your head out of the phone. To the point where I wanted to just walk straight into him just to teach him a lesson, but you don't. You just gonna stand. I have stood there and let them walk into me, sort of like how you draw a foul for charging in basketball. So I think that's the best. I think that's the best thing you can do. Anywhere you're like, it doesn't matter. You're like, you drew the foul, man. Okay, like that's it. Like nobody in any country is gonna fault you, and if they do, they're gonna be the a-hole. That's it. You draw that foul, you just stop. You give them plenty of room to walk into you. I mean, literally, like it's never been the dudes. It's always the girls because they're always into their phone way more. But I've stood, given them a good 5 feet to notice me because there's literally nowhere I can go because the sidewalks here are congested and they're congested with people, and sometimes there's power poles or staircases for overpasses, pedestrian overpasses that there's nowhere to go, and you give them like 5 feet to like, hey, because they're not looking up, they're not looking up at all. There's nowhere for you to go. You can't go backwards, and that's just a little bit too. Being too much of a doormat. Like if you start going backwards, stepping aside is cool, or kind of doing the guy thing, and turning your shoulders so that they can walk out. But if they've got like 5 or 6 feet, 2 meters to look up and realize, oh, you know what, this guy's, the polite thing to do would be give this person the right of way because they've got, an escape path. And then they don't, just you're standing there and they walk into you. No one's gonna get mad. So you get these nutcases in here. So anyway, that's what I say. Draw the foul. Let's see. Blah blah blah. What's this tanker? Blah. What's this guy's name? Wind up crow. Lemon cookie. This happens everywhere. People with heads buried in phones. Blah blah blah. Never bothered me anymore compared to other things that annoy me. Is in aisles and small stores get so cramped you can't move like a pedestrian traffic jam. Is this your first developing country? It seems to be the norm in Southeast Asia and a lot of places. It's not about being a developing country. It's about a different perception of personal space. It's really these guys. Sure, there's some issues with that, I guess, but I don't really think that it's that bad. Like, you get in the 7-Eleven, there's some people, but I don't know, man. Like, I present myself in such a way that At least I like to think that I do, where people people know to give me my space. Um, when I'm standing in line at 7-Eleven, I'm checking my six to make sure that no one's going to come up behind me with a knife or to turn around or there's nobody waiting in line if I'm not standing in their way. So, but yeah, I post up and I claim my space, not being a jerk about it, just like you know, hey, stand up. There, that's my spot, dude. This is my spot. I'm waiting in line. I'm walking here. And then, when I'm walking on the street, if I have to stop or whatever, the, I'll post up and I'll stop, but out of people's way, right? So I think the one comment, like I said, is maybe it was you. Probably it's more true than anything else. Some guy's talking about his own experience, blah blah blah. Okay, here we go. There we go. Double X nerd killer double X. Oh, shut the fuck up and get. He's probably English, so I'm gonna do my best South London accent. Oh, shut the fuck up and get out of Thailand, you racist piece of shit. You're obviously staying in the tourist shitholes, Nana Plaza, because this is exactly. Sorry, my English. This is exactly where the kind of thing happens. Tourists are jet lagged and entitled. They feel that their expensive plane ticket and hotel means they can walk with right away because they're right away. They walk with the right of way. Uh, because they're burnt. Yeah, so yeah, I don't think they did this one on a phone, man. So you can see kind of the level of intelligence that comes here. And not that I'm super smart, but I know the I know the difference and I know how to spell. Because of they're burning, they can walk with the right of way because they're burning a lot of money on their vacation. I know this because I lived in a soak for 2 weeks and walking anywhere was just bloop, E. It's tourists, not Thais. STFU up. STFU up. Who's this racist? Is this a Buddhist thing? I, oh God, what a that guy's a dork. Another dork, social justice. He's probably one of these liberal ultra libs that come here, think they're gonna change the culture, teach people about you know whatever morals they think should be imposed on society because it's better for everybody. I love that you're being downvoted for stating the truth. Racist jokes aren't funny. This comedian, this is in reply to him, I guess. This comedian should absolutely get their own shirt together about cultural perspective and try not being so critical of other people's country culture norms. But at least he's an equal opportunity douchebag and is a sexist sack of potatoes as well. His tampon comment, effing pathetic. Ugh, by clear pink plastic. What? I don't remember. Did I read that? Let's see if I can find tampon. Where's tampon? One, two. I unless you there's something coming up there. Maybe he used a female sanitary napkin. Was this edited? Doesn't look like it was edited. All right. So the thing about it being is just a Buddhist thing. That's a valid question. Like it's not. There's nothing racist or culturally insensitive about it. That's a lot of the attitude of Thai people, whether you find it positive or negative, is a direct result of the Buddhism influence on the culture. They'll just be like, whatever, be cool, you know. Um, So a lot of things that matter to Westerners or even other Thais, there's like, it'd be cool. Don't 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 be so serious. It's but I don't know. There's certainly there's a group of people. There's a group of expats that they they think they're gonna score extra points. They think they're gonna score. They think it's gonna. You know what I mean? They're like, they're turncoats basically. So they think that by defending poor behavior or everything in the society is gonna make them better situated with the locals. They're gonna be able to open more doors, and it's just not true. I mean, that kind of behavior will score you some points, but I mean, if you go on these, if you start learning how to read Thai, you talk with the locals, you make friends, like an honest to goodness friend with a Thai person, you get to know their perspective, and you know, it is not that different from ours. They are like, yeah, these people walk like bovine herds. Sometimes they get annoyed with it too, but the difference is they don't actively voice their frustration. They're kind of, maybe that's the Buddhist part of it. There's like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just gonna accept it. And it's better to accept it than to cause a big hubbub. So anyway, well, let's see another comment. I'm not gonna read these extra long ones. Wind up crow. I work here. It wasn't serious. Change your tampon. Oh, maybe that was his comment. I see. 5 days ago. Yeah, yeah. He just felt like venting a little bit. And I think yeah, this is what you get with online. Hong Kong is the same. Shanghai, same. Ho Chi Minh too. This is not a human trait called locus of control. Most Asian societies have an internal locus, while most European and American have an external. Interesting. Locus of control. The wiki says it's the other way around. Japanese people tend to be more external in locus of control orientation than people in the US. It means people attribute things around them as being others' fault and not theirs. The core concept makes sense though. Locus of control. In personality psychology, locus of control is a degree to which people believe that they have control over the outcome of events in their lives as opposed to external forces beyond their control. Understanding the concept was developed by Julian B. Rotter. This guy copied and pasted from Wikipedia, it looks like. Way to go. Wiki TextBot. Okay. Person's locus, Latin for place or location, is conceptualized as internal, a belief that one can control one's own life, or external, life is controlled by factors which the person cannot influence, or that chance or fate controls their lives. Individuals with a strong internal locus of control believe events in their lives derive primarily from their own actions. For example, when receiving exam results, people with internal locus of control tend to praise or blame themselves and their abilities. People with a strong external locus of control tend to praise or blame external factors, such as the teacher or the exam. Well, that's an interesting concept. So I learned something new today, and so did you. What do you think? What is your locus of control? Are you external or are you an internal? Do you have a strong internal locus of control or a strong external locus of control? I think probably for me is external, if I'm being honest. Um, Majority. I think you can't just paint it with one broad stroke. I'm this or that. I think with respect to certain things, yes, it is, especially, you know, things that are direct result. I tend to think externally in terms of um, you know where your family and how you were raised. There's a certain amount of of results in your life that are due to external forces. But at a certain point, part of growing up too is making it an internal, which is like you have to, which you tend to you when you get older, you kind of accept where you're at, and then you decide what are you going to do to change. And you have to focus that internally. And some things still, because I think we have this idea that you can't everything manifests itself because you are attracting negativity. And it's kind of like these people that read The Secret, or the meme where they chastise football players for thanking God for that touchdown or something like that. These starving children in Africa, they and that's a perfect comparison or contrast is you know these children children in a famine-stricken African country, um, you know, and war torn. Like, you're gonna say that they attracted that to them, or it's karma, or whatever. That's kind of just nonsense. Like, yeah, the reason there's a reason why they're not turning into Einsteins, and there isn't a massive brain drain on that country from developed countries, because there's a certain they can't raise themselves. There are external pressures that are out of their control. So we tend to, in the West, because we're so rich, we tend to think that you can't blame anything on external pressures, and I think that's absolute nonsense. Of course you can. If you struggle in life at some points because you had not the greatest upbringing, um, there's that's an external pressure that manifests itself. Now, if you can recognize that you face those adversities, and you do not start looking inward, and how your own behavior and how you can overcome those things, and yeah, absolutely, then you're too much on that same side. The point is, as you get older, you need to be a functioning adult, and to do that you need to focus on the internal locus of control. Well, I'm pretty happy. 31 minutes there on the live stream. We got to learn something new, and that about does it. So that's pretty fun. I got to get going to work. So catch you guys next time. All right. Bye-bye.